If you would, please take your seats. We'd like to start the meeting. Good afternoon. I'm Don Fry, Chairman of the Video Lottery Facility Location Commission, and welcome to this afternoon's presentation from MGM National Harbor. The Video Lottery Facility Location Commission was appointed 3 members by the Governor, 2 by the President of the Senate, and 2 by the Speaker of the House. We are not compensated for our service. We have previously awarded 5 licenses in the state of Maryland. This would be the 6th and final facility that is available for a casino in the state. To my far left is Commissioner Bruce Poole. Seated next to Commissioner Poole is Commissioner Mike Miller. To my immediate left is Jackie Vincent, who is staff member for the Video Lottery Facility Location Commission. To my far right is Commissioner Rona Kramer. Seated next to Commissioner Kramer is Commissioner James King, and to my immediate right is Commissioner Ella Pierce. This afternoon, we have an opportunity to hear directly from MGM about the presentation that they would like to give us regarding the location at National Harbor. We previously had an opportunity to visit the site and see it firsthand. This evening at 6 o'clock, we will have public hearings. At that time, anyone who wishes to testify before the commission can do so. Please sign up outside. You'll be allowed no more than 3 minutes in your testimony this evening. At this time, we'll go ahead and start the presentation and ask Lorenzo Creighton to please start us off. Thank you.
Chairman and Commissioners, thank you for your time today and later tonight. You know, I came to Maryland a little over a year ago, and I actually moved into National Harbor. And I always tell everybody I have absolutely the best commute to work of anybody, because I walk like a block and a half to work, so it's great. Now, the MGM team is very excited tonight to present to you, the commission, our resort vision and hear from the MGM team. But first, I want to show you a short video to tell you who we are.
That's excitement. I've seen that video a few times, and I can't believe I actually get paid to do this job. It's a lot of fun working for MGM, and it's a lot of fun being here. My name is Jim Myrna. I'm the chairman and CEO of MGM Resorts, and I want to thank the chairman and the commissioners for the time that you have put into this very important process. I also want to thank all the folks that I've met over the past year and a half. We've spent a lot of time in Prince George's County. We've talked to small business owners. We've talked to residents. We've talked to elected officials. We talked to first responders. We've talked to people who live in the community, work in the community, educate their children in the community. And it's been very valuable information. And I hope once you see the presentation, you will know that we incorporated a lot of this thinking. So who are we? This is an opportunity for us to tell a little bit about ourselves. I'm going to brag a little bit, if that's okay. We are a large company, Fortune 500 company, with resorts all around the world. We have 18 major destination resorts. We are a company that's large in scale, over $9 billion of revenue. And most importantly, we're a company of men and women, over 61,000 that work for us on a full-time basis. You may not know the name MGM Resorts, but I know you know our resorts. From the beautiful Bellagio that hosts millions of people each year. The fountains, by the way, are the most photographed shot in Las Vegas. To the MGM that has hosted so many of the best concerts, fights, and events over these past 20 years. To Mandalay Bay, which is the most important convention hotel in Las Vegas and a great family destination. It's where my kids like to hang out. To the Mirage, which has been iconic for so many years, a lot of fun, very exciting. But we're not just a Las Vegas company. We're a global company, and we're very proud of our regional resorts. Beau Rivage, as an example, is the best hotel on the Gulf Coast, rated just this week by Forbes as the #1 casino hotel outside of Las Vegas. And by the way, the former governor called this the 8th wonder of the world. I think that's a little much, but we're very, very proud of this. And of course, the MGM Grand Detroit, which I'm very proud to say has contributed over $1 billion of tax revenue over the past 10 years to the state and to the city of Detroit. Our most recent project, one that I'm particularly proud of because of how important it is from an environmental perspective, is City Center. We embarked on this journey back in 2009. We opened it in the midst of the recession in 2009. Well, it started in 2004. This is the largest project in North America that has received not one but 6 gold certifications from the U.S. Green Building Council. And I'm very proud to say it's anchored by one of the most spectacular hotels, luxury hotels in the world, the 4,000-room Aria with its cutting-edge design and operations. If you were to look at us in business segments, we are a very, very large hotelier. In fact, we have over 40,000 hotel rooms just in Las Vegas, 43,000 rooms worldwide. We have rooms of every type, from Aria to MGM to Mandalay. We specialize in luxury accommodations, creating the best possible experiences in every type of price point. And of course, dining, you can't go to our resorts if you're not hungry because we got a lot to offer you. We have more dining options than any other resort company, over 350 restaurants of every type of cuisine. I don't know how many James Beard Award-winning chefs we have. Do you know? I mean, it's dozens. But you have to work out a lot because we can feed you, that's for sure. We are an entertainment company. That's in our DNA. That's who we are, actually, as a company. I think it's remarkable that just last year alone, we sold over 6 million tickets in our theaters and in our arenas. And we have, of course, the exclusive relationship with Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas, and they are home of multiple shows for us. Most recently, the fantastic Michael Jackson show that just opened up at Mandalay Bay. But we're an arena company as well. One thing I learned when I came to Prince George's is you want to see a little bit more entertainment, you want to have more concerts, you want to have some great sporting events, and no one does that better than our company, both at the Mandalay Bay Event Center and, of course, the iconic MGM Grand Garden, where if you want to see Floyd Mayweather, that looks like it hurt, you got to go to the MGM because Floyd only fights at the MGM. This last fight recently was the largest gate in the history of boxing, and that was at the MGM not long ago. We take the idea of public spaces very seriously. The idea that you can create environments that folks would want to visit, that would want to interact with, sample. We're always looking to extend the boundaries of what we can accomplish. This project is underway in Las Vegas between two resorts that we actually own, New York, and Monte Carlo. We're developing a park that will be unique to Las Vegas and very appropriate in a desert environment. And anchoring that park will be a new $400 million arena that will open up in 2016. So we'll not have one or two, we have 3 arenas. We dominate entertainment in our markets. For those that want a more intimate environment, we have all kinds of lounges, bars, restaurants, from the very exclusive, sophisticated, beautiful Hyde at Bellagio to a little bit more energetic events that my son likes to go to, who's in the audience. The daylights at Mandalay Bay, and these club experiences are amazing. For those of you that stay up later than I do, we can handle you as well. We have all kinds of night clubs. This just opened up at the MGM Grand, a $130 million nightclub restaurant at the MGM called Hakkasan, and it's crowded every night. I came here a year and a half ago, and I met a bunch of folks, a lot of women, said, we need some retail in our market here. You're not happy about the fact you've been going to other counties, other parts of the state, other states to shop. Well, we can handle you there because we own over 400 retail stores of every possible type, every possible taste, satisfy all folks' needs, from Crystals to Mandalay Bay, to Bellagio, and we have the most important brand relationships in the hospitality business, bar none. And after a busy day of shopping, you're a little bit worn out, tired, well, we can handle you too because we got 17 spas all over the company resort. These are absolutely stunning. We heard that too, that you'd like to have a beautiful day spa for visitors, for residents, for people who live in the environment. We're going to do that. But we're not all fun. We are a business company, and we host businesses from the most intimate of board environments in a very sophisticated level to banquets, wedding ceremonies, other major corporate events, to major conventions. And in fact, the Mandalay Bay Convention Center is the 5th largest convention center in the United States. We own more convention space in Las Vegas than any other company. We know how to do business with business. I don't golf, but if you do, you would want to play at Shadow Creek because it's rated among the top 10 courses in the entire United States. But you can't play Shadow Creek if you don't stay with us because it's our course and you have to be a guest of MGM Resorts. I like a little bit more spirited entertainment, so you might find me more likely in some of our more energetic environments. And of course, Las Vegas is a place where you want to meet new friends, and we have a lot of fun friends to meet throughout our properties. The fabric that weaves all of our great resorts together is a loyalty program which we believe will be of great benefit to MGM National Harbor. This value proposition incorporates what we can accomplish when we can touch so many different folks from around the world. We have a database of over 60 million names, 31 million alone just in our loyalty program, and we recognize all spend. We are the most diversified company that's come in front of your commission. In fact, over half of our revenue is non-gaming, so we believe, very importantly, to capture and value all spend, not just gaming spend, and we incorporate that through our MLife program and through the very important partnerships that we have forged now for the past several years. I'm just going to show a few of them as an example, but in every vertical of hospitality and entertainment, we view the ability to bring people together as very, very important. Two in particular would be notable in this market. One, of course, would be Southwest. We are the largest partner of Southwest Airlines in Las Vegas. And of course, you know the importance of Southwest in your marketplace, particularly at BWI. And we are a very important strategic partner of Hyatt Hotel Corporation, and the ability to cross-market between these great companies and ours has been a great benefit. We also don't rely on others. We do a lot on our own. We have a very strong network of regional offices to help drive tourists to National Harbor. We've heard that for the past year and a half. We're kind of tired of the money leaving the state. We want to bring some of that money home. We want to increase tourism. We want to bring people from around the world, and we want something that Maryland can be very, very proud of, that Prince George's County can be very proud of, and we want to be an iconic destination in this very important gateway property. And we can do that because we know people all around the world. And in one example, for example, in China and in Asia in general, the fastest growing hospitality market, we do more business to Las Vegas from the Asian travelers than any other company. And of course, as you probably know, 2 million out of the 18 million people that visit our nation's capital comes from overseas. We have a very strong global network. We think we can deliver on the project that you're going to hear about because we have this expertise and we are a very strong company financially. We have a largely unused credit facility. We could write the check tomorrow if we were given the opportunity to build this $925 million resort. We have a lot of cash on our balance sheet. We have growing, rising free cash flow. We're ready to fund the project and ready to go. And we will be and have been, everywhere we've gone, a very strong minority partner. And we believe in minority partnerships, and we're very excited today to announce one of those, a very important, strong strategic partnership with Radio One. Radio One is going to be a great partner for us. They reach a tremendous breadth of folks that we want to talk to. It was founded by Catherine Hughes and later her son, both of which are here today. And where are you, Catherine? There you are. There's Catherine and Alfred. And we're very proud to be your partner, very proud to be partners of Radio One. And we're excited that you have the confidence in us to invest alongside us. And we're excited about what we can accomplish together for the state of Maryland. I'm going to finish by saying that I know that we have a lot of pretty properties. We're very proud of what we do. We're proud of being developers and operators. But really at the essence of who we are, we're a company of men and women that care a lot about the communities in which we operate. We care a lot about giving back. We understand that a company cannot be sustainable long-term if the communities in which we operate are not sustainable. We understand that everyone has a point of view. Everyone deserves to be heard and respected. And we are very proud of our diversity record and very proud of being an employer of choice. And we do know, as a leader, you have to be a leader in all things. And we do know that we have to be a leader in being responsible partners to our planet, which is why we've already committed to this project, if we were able to win this project, to build to a gold level, as we did in Las Vegas, from the U.S. Green Building Council. We look for every way we can to preserve our planet's very, very precious resources. This effort, our corporate social responsibility effort, is central to who we are as a company. It is a very important board initiative. It is a board committee. And to exhibit the level of importance it has, I could think of no more important person to do so. The chairman of our Corporate Social Responsibility Committee is Secretary Alexis Herman. The Honorable Alexis Herman has been on our board for many years, and she has guided me and our company through a process, a journey that we're very proud of, and it is my great honor to introduce the Honorable Alexis Herman. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Good job. Good afternoon. Thank you, Jim, and my thanks to the members of the commission for welcoming us and for inviting us to be with you today. I am delighted to speak to you, to this county that is certainly no stranger to me. And I'm delighted that you have given us the opportunity to speak briefly to you today about our company's commitment to corporate social responsibility, CSR. And I must tell you, one of the things that I am most proud of as a member of the board of directors of MGM Resorts is the fact that our company's commitment to CSR literally begins at the very top of our organization. And our commitment is based on a record. It's based on results and not rhetoric. And we're very proud of the fact that when we say that we believe through corporate social responsibility that we can literally inspire our world and create one company, one culture of excellence, we say that because when you work through the principles of diversity and inclusion, when you work through the principle of what it really means to give back to the communities in which you work and in which you live, and when you do all that you can to protect our environment, then you truly are making a difference in our country and in our world. And for us, when we talk about corporate social responsibility, it is a business imperative. And while we know that it is the smart thing to do for our shareholders, we also recognize it is the right thing to do for the communities in which we work and live. And so we work very hard at what it is we can do to give back, to demonstrate diversity and inclusion in all that we do, and at the same time, to be very clear about what it means to foster good principles that help to protect our environment. Now, our record includes not only the fact that we were the very first in the gaming industry, and we have maintained that leadership position to even begin this initiative, but we also are very proud of the fact that we actually had the largest minority construction development project in the entire country when we built City Center. And we remain today the leader in hospitality and gaming for sustainability. Now, we're very, very proud, and I saw that the slides are moving all around here. But you saw earlier a slide that talked about the fact that we have achieved many awards, and we're very proud of those awards. But we are not a company that rests on laurels of achievement. We're always asking ourselves the question, where else and how else can we make the critical difference? Just 2 weeks ago, Jim Murren, our CEO, was named one of the top 5 CEOs in the country for corporate social responsibility. But Jim would be the very first to tell you that ours is a team effort with great employees and great partners that we've had the privilege to work with. It is my fond hope that we will have the opportunity to work with the good citizens of Prince George's County as one of those partners, and that together we can create the kinds of jobs that will demonstrate an inclusive and diverse workforce, that we truly can engage in community projects that will make a difference in the lives of the people here, that we can promote minority and women business owners, and at the end of the day, that you will be able to say that because of our commitment to the environment, that we truly left a legacy for our children. And now to talk more about our record and our results is a young woman who actually likes to boast of being a taxpayer here in Prince George's County. I don't know many people that like to boast of paying taxes, but Phyllis does. She is a brilliantly trained lawyer, educated at Harvard University, but more importantly, she is our special counsel and chief diversity officer. Please welcome Phyllis James. Thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you, Alexis. Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm incredibly proud to be here this afternoon representing MGM Resorts. As Alexis alluded to, I'm not just an employee of MGM Resorts. I'm a native of this region. I grew up across the river in Washington, D.C. I have many family members who reside here in Prince George's County, and I own 2 houses here, so I am a tax-paying member of this county and keenly interested in this project. I joined MGM Resorts back in 2002, in large part because of its diversity initiative, the first of its kind in the gaming and hospitality industry. Our company is richly diverse at every level. Our board of directors, which is 1/3 gender and ethnically diverse, to our management team, which is almost 40% diverse, to our broad body of 61,000 employees, which is almost 64% diverse and over 50% female. In our culture, diversity and inclusion lie at the heart of our people philosophy and our core values of integrity, teamwork, and excellence. We recognize that the continuous innovation and superior guest service that are the hallmarks of MGM Resorts can only be achieved when all of our employees feel that they are recognized and respected, that they are included as a part of the vision and the mission of our company, where our employees are inspired to perform at their highest level, and where they are empowered to express the powerhouse of ideas, perspectives, and opinions that we expect to fuel innovation. For those reasons, we engage in continuous programming to foster our culture of inclusion and engagement and responsibility throughout our enterprise. As one example, I'd like to point to our unique musical production, which was created and performed by our very own employees, called Inspiring Our World. And through this program, we evangelized, and I say evangelized, over 52,000 employees as diversity champions with the spirit as well as the content of our responsibility values. And I'm happy to say this was another first in the gaming industry, and it is unique in corporate America. We have also embedded diversity and inclusion throughout our business systems and operations. In particular, since we installed our diversity supplier and construction policies, our company has spent over $1.7 billion with diverse professionals and contractors in construction work, and over $1.4 billion with diverse suppliers. And as Secretary Herman alluded to, on our City Center project alone, we spent over $1 billion with diverse suppliers. Likewise, when it comes to community, as a major employer wherever we operate, we are an active stakeholder because it is important to us what the quality of life is in our host communities. We strive to make a tangible, concrete difference for our employees and for the people who live there. We engage through philanthropic contributions and volunteerism, but just as importantly, we engage in thought leadership and problem solving for the chronic issues that confront all of us. Not only has our company donated millions of dollars to our communities, but our employees have separately donated through our MGM Resorts Foundation. Since its founding in 2002, our employees have contributed more than $54 million to our host communities. But beyond money contributions, our employees form a virtual army of volunteers. They give their time and their talents to a multitude of agencies of their choice. whether it is a yard cleanup and tree planting exercise, which we did right here at Central High School in Prince George's County last summer, or cleaning homeless shelters, or sorting donated food to food banks, or 100 of other good works, our employees are there. We know that as one company, we cannot cure all the ills that plague our society, but we want our legacy in our communities to be a shared viewpoint that this is a better place because MGM Resorts is here. We bring the same pioneering and creative spirit to sustainability. Suffice it to say that we believe that a greener business is a better business. Under our brand, Green Advantage, we constantly seek to drive innovation and sustainability because it increases efficiency in operations, decreases our use of natural resources, and reduces pollution, all to the benefit of both our business and our environment. We have been on the cutting edge of sustainability in our industry for years now, in our core areas of green building, energy and water conservation, recycling, waste management, sustainable supply chain, and outreach and education. And I'll give you just a couple of examples here. In building our truly magnificent city center, we earned 6 LEED Gold certificates, making this the largest green development in the entire world. In July, we announced installation of more than 20,000 solar panels on the 20-acre rooftop of Mandalay Bay, the convention center actually. This will be the largest commercial rooftop solar array in southern Nevada and among the largest rooftop solar arrays in the world. Likewise, in August, we introduced the nation's first commercial fleet of compressed natural gas, or CNG, Cadillac Escalades. These, combined with our other CNG limousines, make them the largest commercial fleet of their kind. Further, we support sustainability in public policy. So for the past 3 years, we have hosted the National Clean Energy Summit among public and private officials and leaders devoted to clean energy strategies and practices. So in sum, what we have described this afternoon is just a thumbnail sketch of our corporate responsibility initiatives. And we pledge to bring to National Harbor the same pioneering spirit, the same vigorous dedication, and the same know-how and expertise that we have invested in our other host communities. Thank you, and now I would like to bring to the podium our President and Chief Marketing Officer, Bill Hornbuckle.
Thank you, Phyllis. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, I get to do the fun stuff. I get to spend the next 15 minutes or so and walk you through the project. But I would like to put maybe a personal note on this. Myself and my colleagues, many of them here on the front row, have built and designed and developed over 40 of these projects around the globe. This one, and you just saw the site, I know you know the site intimately, to us is extremely special. We think it sets itself up for an amazing gateway into Maryland, and we are more than excited to not only share this today, but hopefully with your good graces, begin to build something that you will all be very proud of. You all know National Harbor for what it is, but just to put a perspective on it, it was a great and is a great vision. We think we can add to that vision. We think our resort will add a piece of synergy, which, as you can tell and you know, is in the immediate proximity to the existing National Harbor. Last year, National Harbor saw 8 million visitors. It is the largest non-gaming hotel on the East Coast. It harbors between the Gaylord and the other facilities there, 3,000 hotel rooms. And as you know, Tanger Mall will be opening in November. And so the synergy in the area we think is very special and very unique. The site itself sets itself up unlike any that we have seen. One of our colleagues who's on the stage here about 18 months ago called Jim, our chairman, and said, Jim, I've been doing this a while. You've got to get down here and see this site. And what he saw, and we ultimately became to know and understand, was 22.5 acres. You can see the outline of what we've taken into consideration for our project, and a massive amount of infrastructure that's had over hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars already invested in making it accessible and making it so that it does not impact on the local neighborhoods. And in the development business, as many of you know, traffic becomes one of the key priorities. We have our traffic engineer here today for questions if you have them later, but in a nutshell, the green indicates the vast majority, or over 90% of the traffic to National Harbor will come in on the 495 and on the 295. And a de minimis amount will come in on the other streets as you know them. The other thing that's interesting and always to keep in mind about a resort like this, it's an entertainment product. And so while it's not 9 to 5 office, our biggest peak is Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Our biggest peak during the week is at about 8 o'clock at night. And so we peak when everyone else is going home. And so it sets itself up, we think, ideally for that. We've looked at, and the chair asked the question at the site, what would you do, if anything, different? Well, the good news is we don't have to do anything different. But we are going to ultimately propose that we make this a circular drive between Harborview Avenue and National Avenue so that the traffic goes in a circle. And then what it enables us to do, which is, again, from our perspective and the design development teams, a pretty unique experience, is it enables us to bring people in ingress and egress from the site for casino customers into a special entrance and out a special entrance, for our VIP customers to come in, for our hotel guests to come in, a great porte-cochere, and be able to go back out on Harborview Avenue. For mass transit customers, whether it be bus or we're proposing a rubber trolley that would take you around National Harbor. Or ultimately our employees, unique benefit to our project, we'll have over 4,000 employees and they'll be allowed to park on site. And you can see they'll come in and be able to park under the facility. And as you look at this, in a moment I'm going to show you some models and some pictures, recognize there is no back of the house. This is an extremely special site. We wanted to give it all of the pristine, we wanted to keep it pristine and honor it in that context. And so as you go around this project, and I would invite everyone in the room later to see the model that's at the back end, you will note there is no back of house. And I think it's very meaningful. It's also very expensive. The vision and notion for this, and I would like to introduce him, came from HKS, which is a leading architectural firm, foremost leader in our industry. They've done a lot of hospitality and gaming work. They are LEED accredited professionals. But the vision for the project and what we came to know and what we're about to show you as MGM National Harbor was the vision of Eddie Abeyta. And Eddie is with us today. Eddie, if you could take a nod, I would appreciate that. This is his vision. And we instantly, literally, Jim and I sat in a presentation room, I don't know, like 6 months or so ago, and within 5 minutes he had us because we truly like what he's done for National Harbor. I won't do this as good as he can. And some of you got to hear him speak, obviously, out at the site. But the way this sets itself up, we wanted it, it needed to be special. The one thing you will notice about the project, and I hope you picked up on this, it doesn't say casino. It doesn't scream casino. It is meant to be elegant. It's meant to be subtle. It's meant to fit into the landscape and the terrain that's there. And you'll figure it out. The community will know what it is. But that is a massive gateway across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge that leads to the site. And so the key design had that in mind. The other thing that we paid homage to and that specifically Eddie did was the great monuments of the area. And obviously we all needed to understand what was a national mall. And in so doing, there's a couple of key themes that came forward. One of those things is that all of the monuments sit up on a plinth. If you think about the Washington Monument, think about, I think this is Lincoln's, if I'm not mistaken. Washington, Lincoln, they all sit up. When you go up to the Capitol building, you rise up to this building. the site, which rises about 90 feet from its inception to the back end of the site, set itself up for that. The other thing that we were enamored with is simplicity and the clean lines that even 230, 50 years ago, our forefathers had. And so the Washington Monument, when you look at that razor's edge, I'm going to point that out to you in a moment. It was a simple design on inception. This was literally a drawing that got this whole project going, just to share it with you. And again, you can see how it begins to build its way up the hillside. And then from there, this is the hero shot, as we call it. From there, you can see a very elegant, sophisticated building. From here, you can see it build its way up on a plinth, which is an amazing way to hide. There's 5,000 parking spaces under 7 stories of garage there. This is an upper deck that is filled with flora and fauna. You'll see that pool is meant to, you put ice skating on in the winter. We can have outside receptions. What you see backlit there are some of the food and beverage and restaurant opportunities with terraces that you can off-come and take a view, whether it be over the rolling hills looking into Maryland or back across the Potomac. And then you see the tower and the beacon from the tower in the backdrop, which I will share with you here in a moment. The program itself has 3,600 slots. There's 140 tables, including a large poker room. We've noticed the attraction to poker in this market. Something that is a little unique, we believe, to our project, and one of the things we absolutely bring to this project in the community is the ability to reach into that vast network of marketing that Jim talked about and bring international visitors from whether it be as far away as Asia or within our own database in North America. So we have built facilities in this project you'll see in a moment to accommodate that. A gorgeous 300-room hotel, contemporary in its design with a rooftop pool, luxury branded retail, an assortment of restaurants and a food mart that will feature some of our celebrity chefs, some regional folks, and some of the new ideas that we've come up with. Many entertainment venues and lounges, meeting capacity for 35,000, and ultimately, again, the parking itself. This is a fly-through that I'd like to share with you, and hopefully it will speak for itself. So hopefully what you saw is a very sophisticated, elegant design, something that will serve as a proper gateway as people come over the bridge. But a couple things to point out. The hotel and its juxtaposition, I hope you caught the angles and again, the razor-sharp edges. It was meant to give credit to the Washington Monument, and it is actually facing directly as you come across the bridge. I don't know if you picked it up on the fly-through, but you're looking straight at that razor's edge as you come across Woodrow Wilson. And then it gives ideal views back to the mall and ultimately, again, to the hills. Each of the entrances, again, are designed with the mindset that I can come in and out of this place, and if I don't want to go into the casino, I don't have to. If I'm here for a meeting, if I'm here for a hotel stay, if I'm here to go to the spa or the salon, I don't need to engage with a casino environment or retail for that matter. Mr. Jones, are you here? I thought that was going to be a fire alarm. It was like, ruh-roh. That was my wife calling. I'm doing fine, honey, don't worry. Anyways, the hotel itself, if I can kind of take you inside, 300 rooms, again, contemporary but warm, elegant. We've done 42,000 guest rooms. This is something we know how to do. I hope you've picked up, commissioners, even by today's presentation, attention to detail is a hallmark of our company. And we will bring it to this project in everything we do. These are some, the spa, and this is a notional idea of the spa. We've done something like this in a couple of other of our projects. And ultimately, the spa salon itself, as Jim indicated, we heard loud and clear about what you'd like all that to be. Another key spot is the hotel lobby. This is a rendering of the actual lobby. Again, elegant, sophisticated, light coming in. That would be the portico off to the right-hand side. And as you're looking straight through that archway, you're looking off into the conservatory. Show you some of the other things that are in the project. This is the layout of the entire casino and all of our elements. That we've just lit up in green are the restaurants, and I will feature a few. The Vitaggio brothers, who many of you may know, they're here from Maryland. They're going to create an amazing steakhouse and gastro pub for us. They have a restaurant, and the two brothers have never worked collectively. They have a restaurant, one in LA and one in DC, and they're going to come together and form a team for us here. Very exciting project, something we're very much looking forward to if given the opportunity. Some of you may watch the Food Network. I know I do. I'm a little bit of a foodie. Yeah, you all watch the Food Network? You know these guys? #1 show. Obviously, they grew up in the barbecue business from Memphis, Nashville, and New York. They have great restaurants. We think this will be a great addition, comfort food, real great, really good barbecue. We're very excited by the Neelys joining us. The next one is a gentleman named Andrew Carmelini, a James Beard Award winner. He will do an amazing Italian bistro for us. We also have chefs. We're going to bring Wolfgang Puck. Presumably you've heard of Wolfgang, and some of our own designs that we're going to bake into the balance of the food and beverage offering. Next is the casino itself. And this is a feel and a look. This is Aria. This is a lot like what we envision our facility to be. It will be a little lighter, but again, contemporary, sophisticated. We will have a focus on a poker room. And I mentioned this earlier, and I think it's critical for this market, what we do in terms of the design development for our high-end customers. Everything from the way they come into the property, how they're touched, how they get in and out of our spaces. We think we do a very good job with that. And so this is a representation of something we've just completed at Aria. And this is the Salon Privé at Bellagio. But we will replicate these in smaller form for what we believe, particularly here in DC, can be a nice piece of international business for the company and ultimately, hopefully, for the state. Retail, we've alluded to it many times. There's over 30,000 square feet of retail space on the property. Again, we look to bring all of the retailers that you all know as high-end. This is, for those of you who have not been to Bellagio, this is Via Bellagio, and the retail environment that we hope to create will have that feel, that elegance, that high-end. Meeting space. I mentioned earlier 35,000 square feet of meeting space, large ballroom. The space is designed to complement what happens at Gaylord, not to compete with it. And I'd like to say that about the entire property. If we do this right, and we think we have because we've studied it intimately, we've talked to the community at large, if we do this correctly, what we add will be additive and it will not take from the community. And we think we've designed the scale right. We could build 800 rooms here tomorrow. We've built 300 by design. We want to help National Harbor, and we think we can. I think it's a critical point. This is a huge attraction. This thing will probably do 8,000 to 10,000 people a day. If we hit our projections, maybe more. We don't have all the right we don't have all the scaled facilities. It will spill over to National Harbor because we want and need it to. What else do we have here? I know I'm running out of time. Meeting space, additional meeting space. Again, banquets, 35,000 square feet. Conservatory, kind of the hallmark of the property, something our company is known for. For those of you who've been to Bellagio, you may have seen the conservatory at Bellagio. The conservatory we're building here, this design I'm going to show you, is this scale. That's about 10,000 feet. That's what we do every year there. We do about 4 or 5 changeovers. And this is what we have planned for National Harbor. Again, light, contemporary, but this will be the epicenter of the property. You will see restaurants and retail hanging off of it. To the right will be the hotel, and to the left you'll be able to walk in to the casino. That will be our money shot on the inside, if you will. What else we have? Entertainment. It is who we are and what we are. We have an entertainment complex and a venue designed. Don't know exactly what we will do with it, but we know, and you know, we know everybody. Boys to Men, for example, we brought into the Mirage. We have an extensive relationship with Cirque, who's brought us Michael Jackson. And so, again, the scale of this is right, where it doesn't hurt, we don't believe, the surrounding venues, but ultimately is right size for the property and is additive to the project and to the neighborhood. We've been asked this by the commission. Obviously, it's in our RFP. What does this cost? We've initially came out with an $800 million projection. We are now at 925, and I think what's relevant about this is that 925, on comparison to the competitive projects, is without land. And so if we capitalized our interest on our lease for land, we'd be well over $1 billion of investment in Prince George's County for National Harbor for the MGM grant, or MGM. So we're excited by it. It is an amazing opportunity. And again, it is a unique position that we think, if given this moment, we can do something very special that you'll all be very proud of for a very long time. I want to bring back up Lorenzo Creighton to talk about the community and some of the other things we've been doing and what we're about to do. Lorenzo?
Thanks, Bill. As you know, in May of this year, we actually presented our RFP on May 9th and took it to the commission. But prior to that time, we had an opportunity to really go through the RFP evaluation factors and take a really good look. And we've done a very thorough assessment of the RFP. And we feel that the MGM Resorts product in this location will have the greatest impact. I've been in the business 25 years, and I tell you, I was very excited when I saw that site, because I don't think there's a better site in North America. Why National Harbor? I think you've heard it, through the presentation, but we'll talk more about why National Harbor. Again, location, location, location. 4 benefits: tourism and a track record of gaming revenue, a commitment to Prince George's County. But again, location is a critical factor. Now, if I were to ask questions about a location or a project, I'd have to ask, how easy is the site to access for all of the visitors and tourists? How visible is the location? What is the driving time to major population centers? Now, in Kansas, for example, the commission voted to award a license citing a greater gaming tax potential for a site that had significantly shorter driving time from a population center. They estimated that a 15-mile difference in drive time translated into 27 to 41% difference in gaming win and resulting taxes. When you look at this slide, MGM commissioned a drive time analysis which showed these differences between the various competing sites. The drive time differential between the sites is obviously much more pronounced during rush hour. The one exciting thing about the site is the synergy that we can build from National Harbor, as well as the potential acreage there for additional development. Now, facilities like the planned, resort would really complement the area and be a catalyst to draw in other development in the harbor and in Prince George's County. Phenomenal thing about the site, it's already MXT zoned. Additionally, we have already started the preliminary site approval process with Prince George's County at a significant investment that we went out on faith and have started this process. But we're already MXT zoned. National Harbor was the best generator potential for state revenue and greater economic impact by drawing in tourists. And again, you've heard the 18.9 million tourist number, 2 million international tourists. So a great opportunity to bring tourists into Prince George's County and ultimately the state of Maryland. You know, MGM clearly, brand awareness, we have a great database, our marketing partnerships, and a great design, which you've seen at this location, will allow for greater incremental revenue for all stakeholders. Again, 3,000 hotel rooms already in National Harbor, which will help us fill those rooms additionally, as well as the 300 rooms that we're going to bring to the market. Brand dominance, and also a leader in the VIP market. We have a proven track record of leading gaming revenue in competitive markets. If you look at our regional properties, MGM regional properties, we are #1 in Detroit with 3 casinos in that market, 1 across the river in Canada, #1 in the Gulf Coast at Beau Rivage, and again, it was rated the #1 casino outside of Las Vegas, and then #2 in Gold Strike property in northern Mississippi. Again, dominance in our markets. An example of Detroit, even with 2 other casinos operating within 1 mile of the property, MGM Grand Detroit generates in excess of $100 million more in taxable gaming win than each of the other 2 competitors here in their top properties. 100 million more. Now, one thing, you can change games in and out, but you can never change the facility or location. More slots does not equal more players and more revenue. If it were true competitive facilities, would not have been reducing their slot product, as this slide shows. You can see that the slots have been taken off the floor at the majority of the casinos in the region. Quality product and great amenities are key. Now, MGM achieves market leadership the right way in the industry. MGM has always been an industry leader in responsible gaming. Now, additionally, with that, we have several programs that we're involved in. Prevention of minors from gambling, not serving alcohol to individuals that appear intoxicated, and then the voluntary self-exclusion programs or limiting programs. One of our key leaders is the chairman of the board for the Center for Responsible Gaming. MGM achieves that leadership clearly the right way. MGM offers more than just jobs. We offer careers. 4,000 direct jobs created at MGM National Harbor. Wages expected to exceed $50,000 per year. In Detroit, for example, the average employee earns $52,000 per year. Now, approximately 300 different job classes, 7,500 total jobs, and 2,700 construction jobs, direct, indirect, and induced. MGM National Harbor will also offer employees a comprehensive benefit package, and some are very unique to the industry. A great educational assistance program, comprehensive health plans, paid military leave, which very few companies offer, and as you can see, a whole host of other benefits to our employees. Long-standing relationships with organized labor, and many of them should be in the audience tonight. Now, this strong and valued relationship with labor will continue in Maryland in both construction and operations. We're already preparing to hire people locally. And these are just some of the Maryland employment partners that we've joined. Now, most importantly, we have a true track record to delivering on our promises. We've already built a substantial database of local diverse businesses. We've already have 1,000 people in our database. I'm sorry, 1,000 businesses in our database. We held a contractor vendor fair recently, and we had about 1,100 distinct businesses attend that vendor fair. Partnerships, businesses, and with groups and the various chambers of commerce in the area. Now, in addition to Radio 1, and you've heard us introduce Ms. Hughes and Mr. Liggins, we will also be seeking local investors and focus on investment opportunities for persons in Prince George's County. And we've hired Morgan Stanley and Stifel Nichols to assist in finding the appropriate investors in this region to be a part of that program. Again, our commitment to Prince George's County, you can see some of the charitable organizations that we've already partnered with and done some great things around Prince George's County. Thank you. And again, Jim Murray.
Good job, Lorenzo. Well, I get to wrap up, and of course, we're all here for all of your questions. I just want to, again, reiterate how excited we are. This has been a tremendous process for us, and one that we got to win because my wife's from Maryland. She's going to kill me if we don't. So, side story, we'll see. We are a resort-based company. We do operate some of the finest resorts in the world. We're proud of that. But we're a very, very diverse company in many respects. We heard loud and clear that you didn't want another slot company in the state. You wanted a resort-based company. And it might surprise you to know that 70% of our revenue comes outside of the casino entirely. We are an extraordinarily successful hotelier, operator of food and beverage, and retail, and everything else that people come to expect when they go to a fine destination. And we want to bring that here to Prince George's County, to National Harbor. So why MGM, in summary? We are the preeminent operator. I think there's no doubt of that. We demand excellence in everything we do, including making sure this sign fit perfectly on the podium and everything else that we bring to bear. We will invest more money in your county than any other company. We're happy to do it. We think the opportunity is there, and we are about making good on our promises. We will employ more people than anyone else. We've done this analysis. We do what we say we do. We don't overpromise and underdeliver, quite the opposite. And these are going to be great careers. And we're going to employ these people from your community in Prince George's County and throughout Maryland. I think there's no doubt that we're proud of who we are as a company of choice, as an employer of choice. And we do have, by far, the strongest programs in our industry. We've never felt that that was good enough. We've always aspired to be the best company in America for diversity and inclusion, for the kind of partner that you'd want to have in your community. And we will buy locally. I heard this loud and clear when I came here 18 months ago. It wasn't enough to have a strong MBE program. I heard it 100,000 times. We want a local MBE program. And that's why we've been committed to this. And that's what we do. And as it's critical to your commission to understand and to assess, we believe that we're going to drive more revenue to the state. We're going to reverse the tide of revenue that has left your state. We're going to bring people here to Maryland and to Prince George's County to enjoy what the state has to offer, to spend their money, and so that the employees can make these great careers that we think is possible. And we have a track record of doing this. We're committed to it. We want to be here. We love the site. We love the reception that we've been given, and we're proud of the efforts so far, and we hope that we can take this journey further and deliver on this vision. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and fellow commissioners. We're here for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me just start off with a couple of questions. Someone can help me, and then I'll turn to other commissioners. When looking at the diagram, it indicates adjacent development. You showed the different development opportunities that existed. Do you control the land that's immediately adjacent to where the casino, the hotel is at that end of the property, or?
No. We do not control that land. We've been in contact with the developer, and we've been doing some analysis of what might be great complementary developments in that area, but our focus has been on the acreage that we've leased from the developer.
So there's no plans to date publicly for what that site would be, either from your perspective or from the current
Certainly
owner?
not from our perspective, and we've heard of no plans for the site adjacent to ours.
Okay. Secondly, I know you indicated 3,600 machines, and that's what you paid for the initial licensing fee in this process. The statute provides 3,000 machines for Prince George's County, although there is some discretion on the part of the commission if we feel that the market bears it and the machines are available, but not to exceed a maximum number. If we were to award less than 3,600 machines, does that significantly impact the viability of the facility?
It might, and depending how less, if it's below 3,000, it would be a significant impact. Obviously, we're proposing to spend the equivalent close to $1 billion. Lorenzo was trying to demonstrate that more slot machines don't mean more revenue, but it does get to a critical mass perspective at some point. We think that's the right number. That's why we submitted for it. Obviously, that's why we put down a deposit for it. We could be off either way, but generally speaking, if we got much beyond a 10% variable on that to the downside, I think we'd all look at ourselves and have a serious conversation about, can we spend that much and make it all make sense?
Yeah, and we certainly don't believe it maximizes the opportunity for the state.
Although when you submitted your bid, you knew, and you were, I guess, actively engaged at the time of the special session, you knew that the legislature had passed a number of 3,000.
That's correct. We were aware of that.
And you had, although you bid for more than that, you knew that that was the number that was in the proposal, in the statute.
Correct. Well, I guess the basic understanding that we're also prepared to invest up to this $1 billion in this project with the mindset that hopefully for the community, it could present a project that's beyond casino slot in a box and ultimately have a net value for real tourism, real economic development for that area. So we are asking for 600 more machines, but clearly prepared to invest $200 million more than the competitive set.
Commissioner Poole?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I do appreciate all the time you put and effort into the presentation, and I thought it was very helpful. But I want to talk about revenues for the state and ultimately what we would expect the state to yield out of this. I don't know, have you seen the presentation book by Parks?
I have not, no.
Okay. They made a presentation where they show the revenues, projections, and what they would estimate from 2016 through 2021, and then in turn what they would imagine to be the gaming taxes that the state of Maryland would get off of that. Have you done a projection as to what you believe this project would run for the first 6 years?
Yes, it's part of our RFP. I think at the third year, which we see equalizing itself, if you will, Jacob's 668 million in gaming, something like that? Yeah. So 650 plus million in gaming revenues?
650 million in gaming revenues by what year?
Third year.
Third year.
I think we're conservative, but that's what the RFP submission shows.
Okay. And so that's your total revenue as of the third year, and you would assume then it would be about...
It would build, and again, I think we're conservative. I think we might be able to get there sooner, but we're trying to be realistic.
So do you have a projection, say over those 6 years, what the total tax back to the state would be?
It's in the RFP. I wouldn't want to give you a bad number standing here. We did put it in the RFP. The package you have has that number in it.
Okay. You gave us quite a bit.
I apologize.
Which is a good thing.
You can see we're not short for underproducing anything.
That's a good thing, but I kept it all, I promise, because it's so big you can't move it.
It comes on wheels. It did have wheels.
But I know exactly where it is in my office, I
Yeah,
promise
okay.
you. And I will go back and check.
Individually,
check it out.
we would be more than happy to supply that to you.
But so that's where what I was getting at is that, you know, at the end you say, look, we can generate more revenue for the state. And what I'm asking is, have you been able to do a comparison between your project and the other two and be able to give us some comment as to why you think you can generate the most revenue for us?
Well, we haven't spent too much time thinking about the other guys, but we do see, just based on their public comments that we've seen, we're highly confident that our gaming revenue will be materially above either one of the other two applicants, both initially and then on a growing basis. And we have, what we tried to do within the RFP is with, I think, significant detail, show how we build up our revenue model. And I believe we are being conservative in terms of the revenue number. I think we can exceed that, and it would grow. The idea would be, and we've seen this in other markets, Detroit, for example, has been open since 1999. It's doing more revenue today than it did in 1999, which is pretty remarkable when you think of the city of Detroit. So it's all about marketing. It's all about bringing people together, building up that brand awareness. We're kind of lucky because we get a jump start because the MGM brand is well known around the world. That's going to help. But I think we could say very confidently our revenue would be greater and growing.
And I think that location, the simplicity of the location and the ability to get in and out, and the overall, the customer experience starts the moment they leave their driveway.
Yeah.
Doesn't start the moment they get to our store. Because that's all part of it, and we think that is a big add.
I know, I get that. Let me ask you, has State Highway generated any reports as to what they believe the road usage would be and whether you're right on what you think would be the right access and whether additional improvements would be needed?
Yeah, please.
Let's start with the traffic group. As of right now, State Highway Administration has not weighed in on the traffic studies that we've conducted. Those studies were conducted in coordination with State Highway and Prince George's County and Planning Commission. And those studies all show, without question, that there are no other improvements that are needed because of the $1 billion that was already spent. But they have not yet weighed in and taken the time to review the studies until a selection is made.
So, in my understanding, you really don't anticipate the need for a lot of road investment from MGM because of your proximity to 295.
Yes, in fact, Mr. Poole, when National Harbor was built, it anticipated a very large, high-density development on this portion of the site already. So the improvements that were built already anticipated actually peak hour development. And so we had actually anticipate no improvements would be needed by either MGM or government.
Okay. And then the last thing, Penn National on Monday made a presentation where what they said was that they would actually give the profits, which were subject to definition.
Smile. Mr. Mirren.
We're slow over here. We're not dead. So we did ask questions, but it was helpful, actually. And I will say, they, you know, to their credit, upon questioning, they said, look, we're going to have a management fee, we're going to have interest charges and such. But after all that, it's going to amount to additional funds to Prince George's County over, I believe it was 14 years, but over and above the state tax, it would be about $320 million. Do you have anything in your proposal that is similar to that?
Thank God, no.
Okay.
I thought that was a very clever headline, but unfortunately I spent too much time on Wall Street to to be snookered by that one. I think that without speaking to that point, because I think 100% of nothing is nothing by my math, but we are going to spend more money, materially more money. We're going to generate more property taxes. We're going to generate more revenue that the state and the county will benefit from. We're going to employ over twice as many people, 2,000 more employees than what Penn National has indicated that they're going to employ.
And let me just ask you, when you say you're going to spend more money, I think Penn National said they were going to spend about $700 million, and they already own the land.
Right.
So aren't we fairly close here, or?
We're $925 million. We're spending.
Oh, the 925 is without land.
Without land.
Oh, I didn't understand that.
Yeah,
okay.
We're spending. We started at $800 million, but once you get us together in a room,
right.
It hasn't gone
gentlemen.
down.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to keep it at $925 million. But we are going to spend over $200 million more than anyone else. And as I said, we're happy to do that. We're going to generate, we believe, more revenue, more jobs in a better location, with less impact to local communities, and with, I think, a far better tourist plan to bring folks to your state.
And I think one final point that Jacob was trying to make is I think if you look at that proposal, you'll find the cost of infrastructure improvements they need to make the facility accessible is in that $700 million. I think we believe in earnest we don't need to spend that money. We can put it all back into the facility and into jobs, economic development, et cetera.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. King?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few quick questions. Your revenue mix that you have in your presentation, I assume, is for your overall company?
That's correct.
This is somewhat of a unique situation, as you alluded to, with National Harbor being in such close proximity. You've tweaked, I guess, your hotel rooms and in an effort not to pull from National Harbor. Have you done a kind of a revenue mix on what you think this project will be, and how different is that from your overall company, as the taxes that come into the county and the state are different from gaming, they're different for liquor, they're different for regular sales tax?
You have. It's significantly less than that's Las Vegas. Those are Las Vegas model numbers. And so it would be significantly less than the regional properties. It's within the RFP, and it's sitting all there in the RFP. So the percentage is there. And again, I think we could provide that.
But I mean, I think we could say definitively it's substantially more non-gaming revenue than what you've been presented by the competitors, because we're investing more in the non-gaming amenities themselves, more restaurants. We're going to have more entertainment, more retail, and that's why our employment number, this is all interrelated, I must make a point. The reason why we're employing so many more people, these are highly labor-intensive efforts in the food and beverage side, in the entertainment side, in the retail side, in the spa, restaurant side. So there's a reason why our employment number is higher. It's because of the non-gaming side, which is driving a lot of that incremental employment.
And just the institutional knowledge to know how to do that, both from an entertainment, retail, and food and beverage perspective. I think that was the broader point of that Las Vegas slide. That is if you look at it, that is our core business now in terms of operational day-to-day activity. So we feel comforted that we know how to bring something to the table in that respect.
Great, thank you. And just, you mentioned property taxes, and excuse me if this is in our information. As Commissioner Poole said, we've been given a lot of information over the last couple of weeks here. Can you speak to forecasts on the property taxes and what that revenue would come in from that?
Do you know it offhand, Jacob?
We apologize. It's
That's all right. Maybe you could get that for us
Absolutely.
in the next couple of days.
Absolutely.
That'd be great if we could look at
Happy to.
Might be helpful for maybe a one-pager.
I'm sensing that.
Pulling that.
We're going to take the executive summary and make it shorter.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Miller?
Thanks. So just to follow up on a question that was asked, if we take the lower retention that one of the other bidders has proposed, the 33% versus the 38%, on the assumption that you would, in fact, drive more revenue, how much more revenue, what's the arithmetic of how much more revenue you would have to produce in order for the state to receive at 38% what we would otherwise receive at 33% retention? What does that arithmetic look like?
Our projections are at the 38, so we'd have to ultimately go back. Bottom line is we will go back and look what the competitive set did. We can do some simple math, and what we'll come back to with is an executive overview that has all of the key economic things you're asking about in a couple of pages, and we can demonstrate that. I think what you'll find long-term, top-line, total economic development drive, including tax, we think we have a better proposition. But we will put that to, we'll dedicate that to document and give it.
That was really important to us when we modeled this out, is that, you know, how do we invest the most amount of money in your community and employ the most people? It drove, that was the driving philosophy. It certainly is not a net zero-sum game in the standpoint of the math of this, but certainly a higher tax rate means we just would have to take it away from the investment side. And then we can come up with that number for you, and we will do that. But we drove it off of the law of the state. We drove it off of what we believe to be the case. And that is why we came up with that investment of $925 million.
And there's one significant competitive factor. Then in a minute, I'm about to give Jacob the microphone. You all hear what's going on here, right? But you know, think about Penn. They have a much lower tax base, a casino not far from here. So why not raise the tax price in Maryland and drive people? Because there's only so much money in a dollar. There's only so much money to be received. And so by driving customers back to West Virginia and keeping them out of here, it's in their net best advantage, we feel.
That was a nice bill.
I'm sorry, but
yeah, it was Parks, Pennsylvania, that proposed the 33%.
Yep. They got a casino in Philadelphia, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lower, Pennsylvania's lower.
Mr. Kramer.
Thank you. What percentage of the business that you'll do at National Harbor do you anticipate will be coming locally from DC, Virginia, Maryland? And if you consider local to be any other states, please let us know.
We see 70% of all of the business coming outside of Maryland. Okay? So Virginia, DC, and so the question is, of that 70%, how much of it comes from Chicago, how much of it comes from Hong Kong? We've got marketing plans, again, within the RFP that speak to those points. Because this is such an international destination, I'd like to think that we could drive 5 to 10% of our business internationally here from a high-end gaming perspective. Time will tell, but that's a goal. But 70% of our core business will come from outside the state of Maryland. I think that's the key point. The idea and the opportunity to reach out to the surrounding region, the country, and ultimately internationally and bring folks in.
Given that and the fact that the state of Maryland has a fairly high tax rate, what would motivate you to be bringing that 10% of your, hopefully your high rollers that you want to bring in your database to Maryland as opposed to one of your other locations?
We have we're not kidding anybody or ourselves, but we have a strong belief that people, and here's what happens in Las Vegas. Okay, obviously we have a large facility in Macau. In Las Vegas, one of our biggest seasons, this is the example, is Christmas. And the reason the biggest season for international Chinese business of note and Asian business is Christmas is because they come visit their relatives and their daughters and sons in Southern California who are going to school. And so they're in the surrounding community, the area. So that has prompted the trip, not that they're even coming to Las Vegas. Same thing with National Harbor. Would we send a fancy airplane to go get somebody in Hong Kong and fly them here? Probably not. Will they be in the region anyways, and we know who they are and they know us? Yes, and I think that's the big differentiator.
Thank you.
With respect to the job numbers that you referenced, I think it was 4,000 direct jobs right at the harbor. Obviously, many more indirect and induced. But of those, what's the mix between full-time and part-time of those 4,000 jobs?
It's 80%. 80-20 is the mix.
Okay. And with respect to the benefit packages, the benefits that you alluded to, are those only referenced full-time employees, or do part-time employees also receive any of the benefits that you spoke of?
Primarily full-time, but some of those are available to part-time employees. Depends, if you go through but the comprehensive health care and other things of that nature are.
Commissioner King.
But I can assure you, Mr. Chairman, our union partners keep us well on point on that subject.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you speak to how far south you think you can draw from? Parks put a fairly detailed map together as far as people driving to this location. Obviously, with what we have just awarded north of us in the state of Maryland, from the southern region, what is the competition below us in North Carolina?
We've done penetration models and how far, and it starts at probably 200 miles of substance. And I think, again, what's unique about this location, it's not just to come to gamble. It's not let's go put 2 hours in front of a slot machine or a table game. It's the overall experience that we're going to create on site and at National Harbor. And so we think people will drive 2 hours, maybe a little longer, but they've proven it historically in places like Atlantic City, in places like Connecticut. We are up for an opportunity in Massachusetts, and it's 75 miles away from the casinos, and we think we can drag 30 to 40% of the revenue back into Massachusetts within pretty comforting assurances there. So that's the scale of the umbrella. And again, I hate to keep referencing the RFP, but we have detailed that in some detail there.
And lastly, can you, to go back to what the chairman was talking about previously with the awarding of the number of slot machines, can you speak operationally to assuming that you were given a license with less slot machines than in your proposal? I assume you're going to build the same footprint and then grow into that in time if down the road the numbers have proven that you can take on more, there is a demand for that. Is that something that would change the footprint of this building? Is it something that you would look at the project differently? Just speak a little bit to how, in your mind, what that would do to the project.
What you saw us design, and when I quickly showed the casino, that is the 3,600 machines. We actually had a conversation this week. We're going to extend it 60 more feet because the other phenomenon we know is what's happening with poker in the competitive set here. And so we'd like to make a bigger statement about that. We have a second tier, a second floor that we could build additional gaming if we needed, if we felt the need to, because as you can see from the plinth, the whole notion of this thing, there's nowhere to then go. But we have plenty of room to accommodate up to the max we understand is 4,750 if we thought the market would bear it. We don't, or we'd proposed it to begin with, but we have room to grow. And again, I think on the downside, depending on how far you went, I think at 3,000 machines, back to the chairman's comments, we would have to take a different look. Whether we came back to the same answer or not, I'd like to reserve that, but we'd take a different look.
As far as your overall project costs?
Yes, correct.
Right. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions, members of the commission? Great. Well, we thank you very much for the time and the investment that you've made today. We also thank you for your interest in Maryland and this facility, and we look forward to having you make another brief presentation this evening before the public session. And we will probably get back with you with additional questions based upon what we've seen today. Also, our more thorough analysis of the RFP's responses between now and the time that we make our decision. It is still our goal to make a decision of an awarding of this license by the end of this year. So we would just ask, in the interest of expediency, if we would ask information of you, that you do the best that you can to return it to us so we can get our professionals involved in the process as well as reading the material and making the evaluation from our perspective. So again, we thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That will conclude this afternoon's portion. We will convene again at 6 p.m. this evening. Thank you.